I don't want to jump on you there, but we are getting some tentative reports that the U.S. and China have, in fact, reached a partial agreement that would broker a truce in the trade war, a broader deal that could be followed up by President Donald Trump and Xi Jinping of China and signed later this year. We don't know about a lot of the details, but right now the market is moving fast on this. We were up about 350 points. Now we're up about close to 400. We don't know the details, but as you were reminding me, Rebecca, the market wants something resolved one way or the other because even a lousy deal is better than no deal, right?
Right. I mean, I can't wait to see what the list includes. I can't wait to check off the 7 boxes. It's not going to be a full comprehensive right now, I don't think, Neil, although this is huge news. I just can't wait to see the details. And I was not expecting this.
And it includes, Leroy, that aspect where it's going to say the Chinese are no longer partners with American firms and watching them and copying from them, stealing from them. In the future, that could be a significant development.
I think significant, and look, it'd be great to have a full comprehensive deal, but if this is a little bit like Obamacare repeal, remember the skinny repeal, or just repeal part of it? If this is a skinny deal and we have a bigger deal down the road, if this calms things down and we don't see import taxes going up, this is the biggest question mark in the economy. If this question mark can be cleared up, I think the markets go up and away.
All right, this has been something that the market has been waiting for a long time, so it's interesting to see on the fact, if it is fact, and whether even the Treasury Secretary raises that later on, we don't know, but it would provide some closure for markets that just have wanted some certainty, right?
Or just a big sigh of relief for today. You know, it's just like we've been thinking about this for so long. It's like, all right, let's get to the weekend, and then we'll think. Well, not today, but then on Monday we'll start to think about the next step in all this, because there obviously will be a next step. The way they phrase it and the way they talk about it, I think will be interesting, because to the point that everybody's been talking about, if you want to get, say, for example, of getting rid of the forced joint ventures, I mean, how are you doing that, and how is that being handled from the Chinese point of view? Because it's been almost obsessive from China's point of view to come through this negotiation without making changes to, as they see it, their national sovereignty, or as we would describe it, the laws of their country. So if they can write this in as sort of a new regulation and that becomes the blueprint for a wider deal next year, then that's a really good sign from the American side that we can get what we want without having to have China make an actual change to their law, because that's the last thing they want to do. But they will bend on certain issues, and maybe we're seeing that today, which is a good sign.
We do not know the details of this, but more and more services are now reporting that a tentative deal has been reached between the United States and China, a partial trade deal that we've been talking about, not necessarily the sweeping one that calls for very major structural reforms in China, how they go about their business, what they require when it comes to intellectual property, and all the other stuff that a lot of U.S. businesses have complained is a rigged system that if you want to do business there, you have to sort of surrender virtually your company books to the Chinese to make sure you can do business there. But we are waiting for a couple of other developments, including the Treasury Secretary of the United States, who is going to have a briefing a little bit. The Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, we were told originally it might not have to do with this. Now, maybe it does have to do with this. Maybe it has to do with sanctions on Turkey, given it's pretty aggressive offensive right now in northern Syria. So much we don't know, this much we do. Stocks have picked up about 60 points on the Dow. The Dow now over 406 points, 407 points now. It had been up over 500 a little bit earlier. 27 of the Dow 30 issues are up. Technology stocks are moving up smartly. Apple is up about 2%, Amazon more than 1%, Netflix 2.5%, Google close to 2%, Microsoft and Facebook up 1% and 3% respectively. They are among those thought to be instant beneficiaries from any sort of a trade settlement here. We're going to stay with this, guys, keep monitoring this and the impact of this. Rebecca, one of the things that comes to mind is it's all in the details, but as you were reminding me, it's all in whether the two sides can then grease the skids and just get something more substantive down the road. The markets might not need that right away, or even significantly down the road. They could take their sweet time, because this is the big enchilada too. And I'm sure to be included in this, more details on more agricultural purchases and the rest.
Absolutely. The soybeans are going to come back in. So, you know, this is exciting, Neil, and I think businesses, U.S. businesses, have really wanted stability, especially for future investments. So this is going to be just a welcome breath of fresh air. I don't want to be poo-pooing anything. I just want to have a word of caution, because we got to the deal in May thinking that everything was going to happen.
No, you're absolutely right. You're
and
absolutely
Trump
right.
wants teeth, and he deserves to get teeth in this deal after 15 months of this back and forth. We need some teeth here, and that's where the Chinese seem to sort of back away. So let's hope that that is worked into this whole situation.
Yeah, it reminds you, you're a good student of economic history too, and Ronald Reagan, you know, trust but verify, right?
That's right,
so
yeah.
we want to trust that the Chinese are going to stick to whatever purportedly they're agreeing to, but that we can prove it. In other words, we'll have a metric to show. You said you're going to buy more soybeans. How many more? You said you're going to buy more American wheat, barley, that sort of thing, more pork, et cetera. But we want to see that, right?
Yeah, we obviously want details. We want things we're able to verify as we want any agreement. But I'd call this the big wonton, if you will. And we've all been waiting for something to happen on this after 2 years of this going on. And even if it's a partial deal that gets us moving forward, I think that's a big, big, big plus. And again, this is probably the biggest biggest aspect of uncertainty in the economy. If we get some certainty on this, I think the economy really charges forward.
And we might have known something. The president sometimes tips his hand. We always get that feeling when before a report comes out, he knows what the next day's job report is going to be. He did intimate yesterday that he sees good things. He followed up on that today.
Yeah.
So I think you were mentioning this before, Leroy, that there's a sense that, you know, maybe the I's were close to being dotted, the T's crossed already, and they were just formalizing it. And I don't know. Too early to tell, but what do you think?
I would say the way that the joint venture requirement was eliminated is, I think, a good sign. I was just reading through the way that they did it in the press conference. China said that we're going to get rid of this joint venture requirement, but we're going to have our regulatory agency, the Securities Regulatory Commission, take back what had been essentially a regulation that was put in place. So again, as I was saying earlier, that allows them to say that we just kind of, and it sounds like a small thing, but I think it's really at the heart of what they've been negotiating at for a year and a half now, is we can make a small change in our regulations or rules without having to make a big change that affects our sovereignty or changes the laws of our land that would have to go through the Politburo and all the rest of it. So the way that they're announcing this and the way that they're structuring it, probably, hopefully, from the point of view of people who want to see a deal get done, would be a blueprint, again, to get something larger down the line, assuming that this isn't something large, assuming that this is just the first step in a process, which I think most people think it is.
All right. You're watching the briefing room at the White House right now. Not too utilized these days, but anyway, it will be utilized today. The Treasury Secretary is expected to update reporters on what we don't know for sure. It might be reports that the United States and China have come to a partial trade agreement, what is oftentimes been reported to be a truce, not so much a trade deal, but just the hostilities are being stepped aside as the Chinese make good on a commitment to buy more agricultural items, and we presumably make good on a commitment to delay or cancel outright tariffs that were to go into effect next Tuesday.